Bhavaji was born in a village in Ayodhya, Dalpatpur. His real name was Asa Ram Baljot. Bhavaji was a Sri Ram devotee. On an auspicious day, he went on a pilgrimage to Tirupati Tirumala. He was so fascinated by the majestic appearance of Lord Balaji, in whom he saw his dear Lord Ram. He decided to stay in Tirumala forever, having darshan of the god all the time. He constructed a mutt and settled there. Bhavaji used to have darshan of the god at least thrice a day. Still, he wasn't satisfied of his darshan. This continued for a few weeks. Temple employees have observed Bhavaji visiting the temple and gazing at the god continuously for long periods of time. Being suspicious about the stranger's acts, they reported the matter to the temple authorities. Next day, when Bhavaji entered the temple premises of Tirupati Balaji to have the darshan of the god, he was pushed out of the temple without being allowed to have darshan of his beloved god. He pleaded not to separate him from his Lord Ram. No one listened to his cry. Instead, he was warned not to enter the temple for God's darshan again. A sad and dejected Bhavaji returned to his mutt. After getting back to the mutt, he cried with the Lord, "Hey Lord, my Ram, what is my fault? Is it a sin to have your darshan? You know it very well that I can't live without having your darshan. Why did you punish me this way? What am I supposed to do now?" Next day morning, Bhavaji went to the temple as usual to have the darshan of the Lord, but he was pushed out of the gate again. A dejected Bhavaji returned back to his mutt. He was not sure how to pass his time without having God's darshan. He then took up a dice board and started playing dice with himself, assuming that he was playing with the god on the other side. He himself used to throw his dice and the god's dice on his behalf. In this way, he played the game all day long and fell asleep. When he was in a deep sleep at night, he heard a pleasant voice calling, "Bhavaji, wake up! It's me, your Ram." Bhavaji opened his eyes and saw the god standing in front of him. He couldn't believe his eyes. Is it real or a dream? Amazed, Bhavaji asked the god. He replied that it wasn't his dream. He really visited him to play dice with him. There was no boundary to the happiness of Bhavaji. A jubilant Bhavaji laid a mat on the floor and sat with the god Balaji to play the dice. Bhavaji defeated the god in his game. The god then asked Bhavaji to seek any boon against his victory over him. Bhavaji politely said, "Hey God, what can I ask for you more than this? I am satisfied with your Vishwarupa darshan. I do not need any material pleasure or wealth. Give me a little place at your feet to serve you. I need no favor than this." A pleased God blessed Bhavaji and vanished with a promise to get back for the game again. Next day, Bhavaji excitedly waited for the sun to set so that he could again play dice with the god. Finally, the wait was over. When the temple doors were shut at night, the god moved out of his Ananda Nilayam and visited Bhavaji to play the game of dice. After finishing the game, the god returned back to his Ananda Nilayam, promising to come back again. It became a regular practice for the god to visit the mutt and spend time playing dice with Bhavaji at night when the temple doors were closed. One day, when the god was playing dice with Bhavaji, he heard a voice of someone calling Bhavaji. The god asked Bhavaji to go and check it out. When Bhavaji went out to see if anyone was there, he found none. He then returned back to inform the god, but he found out that the god had already left the place without informing him. When he picked up the dice board to keep it safe, he saw a diamond-studded necklace of the god lying at the board. He picked up the necklace and kept it safe, thinking that the god must have forgotten it and he would return it when he comes back to play the next time. Next morning, when the Pradhana Archaka was getting ready to give bath to the god, he noticed a missing necklace. He then took it to the notice of the temple authorities, who were very worried about the theft of the god's necklace. All the employees were called upon and inquired about the missing necklace. The Pradhana Archaka informed them about the incident of Bhavaji in the recent past and straightway raised suspicion over him. The temple authorities ordered to get Bhavaji for inquiry. On the other hand, Bhavaji was waiting for the god's arrival to play the game of dice. For long, the god hasn't come to play. In the meantime, he heard someone shouting his name at the doorsteps. By the time he reached there, the soldiers got in and started searching all over the place. Bhavaji was surprised to see them searching all over. He tried to inquire what was going on. He was told that someone had stolen the god's necklace. Bhavaji immediately understood what they were looking for and got the necklace he had held safely to return to the god when he visits again. "Is this the necklace you were looking for?" asked Bhavaji. One of the soldiers said, "Here you go. You have stolen the necklace and now you are acting like this? You are under arrest." Bhavaji pleaded his innocence, but they didn't listen to any of his words. They arrested him and took him to the temple authorities. On inquiry by the temple authorities, Bhavaji told them that the god used to visit his mutt and play dice with him every night when the temple doors were shut. The god had forgotten his necklace at my mutt after playing the game yesterday. When I noticed, I picked up the necklace and kept it safe to return back when he comes again, Bhavaji said. The Pradhana Archaka of the temple raised his eyebrows and said, "We have been doing all sorts of pujas and sevas every day to the god for so many years, and the god hasn't appeared to us, and he appeared to you. Moreover, he played dice with you. Whom are you trying to bluff to? Are you a greater devotee than us? There should be a limit of speaking false." Some of the authorities suggested presenting Bhavaji before the king's court for justice, and that is exactly what they did. The next morning, he was presented in the court of the emperor Sri Krishna Devaraya as a culprit who had stolen the necklace of the god. After listening to the charges, Sri Krishna Devaraya asked Bhavaji's explanation. Bhavaji explained all that had happened with him, and the emperor felt him to be very innocent. He thought it would be unjust to punish him without sufficient proof and proper investigation. He therefore decided to put Bhavaji on trial. Sri Krishna Devaraya told Bhavaji that he will be given an opportunity to prove himself innocent. For this, he will be dumped with heaps of sugarcane in a cell, and if he succeeds in consuming the entire heaps of sugarcane by the wake of dawn the next day, he will be released as innocent. And if he fails to do so, he will be punished for the theft. Bhavaji wasn't perturbed. He had no choice but to accept the emperor's decision. He was then taken to the prison cell, and tons of sugarcane heaps were dumped before him, and the doors of the cell were locked. Bhavaji sat in the corner, closed his eyes, and prayed to the god. "Hey God, I am innocent, and you know this fact very well. I have been charged with theft and put on a test of eating these sugarcane heaps. Hey Ram, it's not my test. They have put a test on you. They want to test your existence in this world. The only thing I need in my life is a little place before your feet to serve you till my last breath. Bhavaji left everything on the shoulders of the god and became immersed in deep penance. A little later, a giant elephant appeared in the cell, and by the wake of dawn, the elephant ate all the heaps of sugar cane dumped there for Bhavaji. The elephant then awakened Bhavaji from his penance with its trunk. Bhavaji was surprised to see an elephant in the cell. When he saw the entire heaps of sugar cane were finished, he realized that his Ram had arrived for his rescue and immediately fell upon his feet and cried, Ram, O Ram, my Ram, you have come for my rescue. How lucky am I? The elephant then blessed Bhavaji with its trunk and trumpeted loudly. On hearing the elephant's trumpet, the guards peeped through the keyholes and were amazed to see an elephant inside a locked cell. They immediately rushed to the authorities and informed the matter. Meanwhile, the elephant broke open the doors and ran away. Some guards tried to follow the elephant, but it disappeared thereafter. When the emperor visited Bhavaji, he was found gazing at the direction where the elephant had left, repeatedly uttering a word, Hathiram. When asked who was Hathiram and how did the elephant enter the prison cell, Bhavaji told that his Ram has come in the form of a Hathi to save him. Everyone who had assaulted him on the charges of theft exclaimed at the great devotion of Bhavaji. One and all had accepted his devotion. The Pradhana Archaka in particular begged his pardon for the assaults made on him out of pride and ego. Sri Krishnadevaraya relieved Bhavaji of all charges and appointed him as the Pradhana Archaka of the temple of Tirumala. He happily obeyed the orders of the emperor as he got a lifetime opportunity to serve his god. Since then, Bhavaji's beloved god, Sri Ram, has personally come to the rescue of Bhavaji in the form of a Hathi. He has been named as Hathi Ram Baba. As a Pradhan Archaka of the temple, Bhavaji served the god for many years. He later sacrificed his soul to the god and entered into a Jiva Samadhi. His body was cremated near Venugopala Swami temple on the way to Papa Vinasam on the hills of Tirumala. A Samadhi of Hathiram Baba has been constructed there and daily puja is being performed even today. People visiting Venugopala Swami temple pay their homage to this great devotee of God Balaji. The Hathiram Baba Mutt has been built on the southern side of the temple in his remembrance, on which you will see the sculpture of Hathiram Baba playing dice with the god himself. You can see this while going to the main entrance of Tirumala Balaji temple. Jai Balaji.